It's that time. Arizona 7 special election, the one where I and Progressive Victory have been throwing people over to support Deja Fox. That's today. It's the 15th of July. That's today. Crazy. That happened quick, huh? You know, she's got a legitimate shot. At least that's what Politico has to say about her campaign. And I hate Politico. The next trend on TikTok heading to Capitol Hill. God, I wish. I wish the Democrats had more like young, popular influencer types in Congress and it wasn't just all stuffy 85-year-old, you know, Epstein associates. Yeah, no, it's going well. Well, I don't know. The polling isn't actually in yet. Or not polling, sorry. The results aren't actually in yet. See, here we are looking at all the information I have at the moment. There's been a lot of buzz though, and buzz excites me. I don't like, you know, I mean, I think bees are cute. So Deja, please handle this for me for a second.
I saw you giving a speech and talking about working at QT. My best friend worked at QT, and it hits home. Seeing people that can represent us and seeing people that look like us, it's really, really, really.
I've given this bit before. There really is no substitute for a good ground game. We've seen it with Bernie. We've seen it with Mamdani. There is no amount of money that can like really displace the power and value of just being popular and likable, you know? The Democrats, the DNC, like nationally, has long shirked the value of authentic grassroots influencers, choosing instead to skin that aesthetic and wear its corpse like a, you know, costume, right? Like the Democrats will occasionally attempt to look like they're breaking ground with youth outreach and grassroots organizing and viral influencer marketing, but usually it's just a cynical ripoff of the real thing. It's artificial, it's astroturf, it's, you know, bad marketing. It makes them look bad. And like a Democrat podcast, what is it called? It's just the Democrat podcast. I forget what it's called. It gets like 5 views on YouTube. Looks really bad. Remember that fella with he had the cup with like the DNC logo on it? It was pretty bad. What people need to remember is that the stated positions, the stated policies of the people that we get into Congress are almost of, well, I would say definitely of secondary importance to the energy, the zhuzh, you know, the fire that they bring with them. Because at the end of the day, like, the Democrats are failing us right now. They're failing us big time. And the Republicans are being allowed to do whatever the hell they want because Democrats don't have the stones to exercise the legal power that they have. I had a crash out on the stream recently where I was talking about the insanity that Democrats in Congress don't exercise their congressional oversight authority more often. The fact that any federal facility, they can just march on in if they want to. It's their right. But Democrats consistently let themselves get blocked. You know, they let just rando security guards pull the door in their face. These are members of Congress. These Democrats, they have real power, real power. So they threaten to arrest you? Okay, threaten to arrest them. Force them to arrest you for exercising your legal authority. Trigger a constitutional crisis over this. Have some balls, you know? This isn't about policy, okay? The Democrats, you know, I'm not delusional, all right? I don't dream of a Democratic Party anytime in the near future where there are no centrists, right? You know, no liberals, it's all socialist. That's not happening. I'm under no illusions that the Democrats are all going to wake up one day and be third worldists or whatever. But I do envision a future, in hopefully a near future, where the Democrats have the fire to use the power they actually have. Republicans have done so much damage exercising power they don't have, you know, and the Democrats just let them, and they struggle to use the powers that are explicitly given to them. Whatever. I want people with fire in Congress, you know? The details, the policy minutia is irrelevant. If you don't have the power to pass policy, then the policies you want to pass are, again, of secondary importance. The first thing you need is fire. There's a difference between like a revolutionary and a policymaker, right? You know, I understand the need for technocracy and bureaucrats when it comes to fiddly details on you know, like appropriations and infrastructure funding and such, but that's not what we're dealing with right now. That's not the world we're in. Anyway,
it really is. It like means a lot.
Well, thank you for getting out and knocking the doors because things are hard right now. No doubt. Having a sense of being able to do something, I know that's why I'm in this race.
I want to do more. I want to be out there.
She's 25. You believe that?
And you're doing a great job at the doors today. Thank you. If you haven't cast your vote yet, you have till 7 p.m. today to do it. You can find a polling location near you, and you just got to bring your ID. Better yet, bring a friend. And if you still have that mail-in ballot in your house, too late to put it in the mailbox, bring it to a drop box near you. We'll see you out there.
Good luck. 25. Can you believe that? We could have a 25-year-old congresswoman. Remarkable stuff, really. I hope she wins. It's going to be close. Not a guarantee, not a lock-in, okay? Mamdani came in with a lot more momentum. This is kind of, you know, it's going to be a bit of a nail biter. But I'll be there watching. I'll be biting my nails, all right? You can believe that. Better than the daughter of the incumbent, APAC, compromised mother. Let's hear people talk about it.
Call it the Mamdani effect, when young progressive Democrats warned the establishment that they were coming for their jobs. The New York City mayoral frontrunner, Zohran Mamdani, is exactly who they had in mind. Such a serious threat that money is pouring into his opponents, including former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who lost the primary, but who just announced that he'll run as an independent.
He is a loser,
And across the country in Arizona.
By the way, like, every Democrat who, like, listen, okay, remember all of the, do you have any idea how much shit the left would get if they pulled this? If Bernie Sanders, when he lost the Democratic primary, ran as an independent back in 2016, like the vote would have gone to Donald Trump. Like Donald Trump would have won the popular vote. Everyone would have hated Bernie Sanders. How dare centrist Democrats like not be enraged over this? That Cuomo would try to throw the election rightward by running as an independent after losing the Democratic primary. Sore loser shit. Seriously, like the fact that that's not inciting more outrage, but instead, no, Democratic leadership just keep their lips shut. Some of them have endorsed Mamdani. A lot of them are just going like, we're not really going to have a socialist mayor, are we? And a Muslim at that. These people. Anyway.
A special election there is one more example of the party's fight over generational change. 25-year-old progressive social media influencer Deja Fox is challenging a member of the state's Democratic political dynasty. She told me back at the Democratic National...
That's what we need right now. We need dynastic rule. It's just really meeting the spirit of the moment, you know? We need the direct descendants of more... You got Cuomo, right, with his father. You've got Graalva. We need to get over this.
Convention, she broke through at age 16. Challenging her senator over his stand on Planned Parenthood. Let's bring in MSNBC's Vaughn Hilliard reporting on the ground in Tucson, Arizona. Joel Payne is a Democratic strategist who served as senior aide to Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. I know you spoke to Deja Fox earlier, Vaughn. I think you're at the headquarters now of her opponent, Alita Graalva. But tell us about this race, because this isn't the kind of thing that usually gets national attention, but a lot of folks are looking at Arizona.
Right. Democrats nationally are looking at this because Alita Graalva is actually backed. This is the 54-year-old daughter of Rahul Graalva, who is a longtime congressman representing Southern Arizona. She's actually backed by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders, as well as folks like Senator Mark Kelly and Gabby Giffords and the mayor of Tucson. But it's a 25-year-old in this race who you talked to back at the convention. She's been a reproductive rights advocate, and she made the case to me that Congress needs Gen Z voices. She would be just the second to Maxwell Frost, the youngest female member of Congress ever. And she says that she has lived a life where she understands the policy repercussions of actions out of Washington, D.C., from SNAP cuts to Medicaid cuts to affordable housing. I want to let you listen, though, as to why she's making the case that the Graalvas are not the answer. Take a listen. Why not turn to somebody who has such a history as the Graalva family?
Such a history as the family. Jesus Christ, man. It's the most anti-populist shit I've ever heard in my life. Oh my God. Look, I know the Republicans are all wannabe monarchists too. You know, they want like Baron Trump to take over. But like, Christ, just saying that unironically.
These seats don't belong to any one person or any one family. They belong to the people. And families like mine, single moms like the one that raised me, have been locked out of power for too long.
Now, at Alita Graalva's headquarters, I just talked to her literally a couple minutes ago, and she made the case to me, look, she served for the last 25 years on the Tucson School Board of Education. She served for the Pima Maricopa County Board of Supervisors, and she said that her history is important to...
Okay, so you have so for one, experience, wow. Second, so you have history being like a fiddly bureaucrat? I mean, what about having fire in your heart? What about being a leader of men? Why do we talk about politics this way? Why do you look throughout history? I'm not joking, by the way. You look throughout all of history, right? Literally, beginning of written history up until some point in the recent past. You know, maybe 100 years ago, 150. And when you talk about good politicians, you talk about leaders, right? You can go, I mean, yeah, Abraham Lincoln, certainly George Washington. You go back earlier than that, you talk about people renowned for their political leadership. You talk about people with fire in their stomach, right? You talk about people who do things. But nowadays, for some reason, I guess the line we've accepted is that now that we live at the end of history, what makes a good politician good isn't having, you know, fire in their belly, isn't having a good spirit, isn't being like an aggressor towards history who's willing to do what's needed to enact the will of the people who voted them in. And instead, it's like, you know, well, they've been sitting in that seat for 40 years. They've been there for a while. So, yeah, I don't know. What the f? When did we turn out like this? It's death of civilization shit. I'm sure if I knew more about the history of Rome, I could point to some parallel there. You know, how you stop valuing like the virtues of leadership and instead start valuing like seniority and the experience and everything else that sounds impressive until you reflect on the fact that if a person's been in a place for 40 years and has never ever made a fuss, they're probably not actually a good leader. They're just a good seat filler. I don't know. I'm rambling.
Her position to be the next member of Congress from here, saying that it's important to have a history in a community, to build a coalition from 90-year-olds down to 6-year-olds, and that she has galvanized and gotten to know activists around the community like these guys here. And she told me, she goes, she would also be the first Latina woman to represent Southern Arizona, and that she would be a working mother who has school-aged children. She said that the reason folks elected her father, Raul Graalva, 11 straight terms in office, is because he was a proven, respected voice. Back in 2016, he was the first member of Congress to back Bernie Sanders' presidential campaign.
That's great, but that was your dad, not you.
So really this race, it's not about who is more progressive than the other, but it's really about the generational argument that these two candidates are making. There are others in this race. I want to note Daniel Hernandez, who was back in 2011, was the young intern who helped providing life-saving care to Gabby Giffords after she was shot. He is also in this race. So tonight is going to be a closely watched matchup, but one that doesn't mean just to a great deal of the folks here in Tucson, but also has those big national implications.
So much duck speak, man. It's so much. You've noticed this. Whenever they start talking like this, I fade out and I like have to snap back to reality. Oops, there goes gravity. Because I forget, like, they're not talking about anything. It's not even about the generational divide, man. It's just, do you believe in things or do you not? Do you want to make changes or do you not? And I cannot get over that AIPAC thing. There's a video on the channel. I don't know if you saw it, but Graalva, the daughter of the incumbent, like some 15 years ago, did a promotional video for AIPAC about how, like, Israeli identity is Latin identity and Latin identity is Israeli identity, like doing the IDPOL parallel thing, which is the purpose of IDPOL, of course. The purpose of IDPOL is to make you love Israel. It's to make you want to vote for Hillary Clinton rather than Bernie Sanders. It's to make you want to give $200,000 a year to a consultant who will give like DEI instruction courses to your employees, but who is also like themselves probably like deeply racist and is just repeating the corporate line. I'm rambling again.
As the Democratic Party determines its pathway forward, Chris.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I have a little bit of campaign trail envy. Vaughn, thank you for that. Joel, how do you see this race and what will it tell us?
Well, Chris, I think Vaughn's wind up there is really good because it kind of tells the story of a proxy war, I think, that's happening in Arizona. And you saw a version of it in New York with Zohran Mamdani. You're going to see it in other places all across the country over the next 18 months in the lead up to 2026. And I think it's Democrats doing soul searching and doing a gut check of, do we have, one, the right people who are able to fight for this moment, but also, are we too wedded to the status quo? And the Graalva family has a lot to tread on there locally in Arizona. I served with Mr. Graalva. I know he's got
families don't do things, people do things.
Got a strong record as progressive champion. I have no reason to think his daughter wouldn't similarly serve, in the same fashion. But there is a hunger for something new And I think that status quo Democrats who are in office right now all across the country, they're going to be meeting this kind of energy from the grassroots all around.
I got it done, even though I'm not streaming right now. Thank you, SamFan155. Elon sure does love to joke about dick and balls. I'm not throwing rocks in the glass house that I live in. Thank you. I'll take other shots at Elon, not the dick and balls joke shots.
On the country. And I think it'll be very interesting to see how voters, particularly Democratic voters, respond to the choices that are going to be laid out in front of them.
You know, in New York, Mamdani made a name for himself with all those viral videos, walking around, talking to people. Now, take a look at part of Andrew Cuomo's newly...
Okay, we've talked about this, yeah. Speaking of Mamdani, by the way, in terms of like letting new blood into the party and actually, you know, doing politics, New York City net approval between ages 18 and 44. Mamdani's plus 43. Adams and Cuomo are both minus 55. Insane. It really is like a struggle for life or death. You know, it really is like, are you yourself close to death? Do you inch towards death? You know, and you feel it more and more with each passing moment. Do you covet death? Do you long for death? And it is genuinely very crazy to me that it's seemingly like innately in human nature, the people with the most to lose are the ones most willing to risk it all, and the people with the least to lose. Like, if you're 85, why the f aren't you voting for your local third worldist Maoist in every election? What are you worried about? Their policies aren't following you to the afterlife, buddy. I don't get it. I don't know. I guess I'll be like that when I'm old. I'll be 85 if I make it that long, which with my diet, probably not. And I'll be like, I don't know. Hillary Clinton IV. I mean, I don't agree with all of her policies, but she seems like she has the experience necessary to... I don't know where I'm going with this bit. I hope Deja Fox wins, and we'll see soon. I'll see soon. We'll see within, like, not that long a time at all. So, God bless.